like these clear latching totes starting at just $5.48, only at the Home Depot.
Welcome everyone, and work to do before the winter break for teams that play college basketball. The American Conference on ESPN, and today from the XL Center in Hartford, the UConn Huskies sit there at 5-5, trying to go over 500. And the Auburn Tigers come in at 9-2. Bruce Pearl has them playing some good basketball. In fact, their best record to this point in almost 10 years. I'm Carl Ravitch, looking forward to today's tip, which comes up in just a moment. But now to my partner, Seth with
Coach Pearl. We've done Coach. What do you think? Look, do that. What do you think you do tonight? You got to beat it down the floor. If you don't beat it down the floor, you better get it into the high post to the baseline. Offensive rebound and defensively, deny, disrupt. How'd I do? I think you did well. I should do this and you should do that. That's too stressful. First play of the game, what are you looking to do? Man to man, we're going to set a 3-4 ball screen just to see how they're going to guard ball screens the rest of the game. If it's zone, I'm going to try to get the ball into Mustafa in the middle of the zone, or maybe lob it up to Austin on the backside. Great. Thank you very much. Good luck.
I just talked about Austin. They got a new player now, Auburn, and his name is Austin Wiley. You'll get a chance to see him. He wears 50. He'll jump center. This is only his third game. Game eligible, signed on, and the expectation is he'll be here for this year. And we're underway. And it's controlling Auburn. And before Skep, and it's Pearl or Greenberg who should be sitting here. I didn't seem to have a vote. Seth rejoins us in a moment. And UConn has played a little more zone recently. They start out in a zone. The ball off the fingertips of Mustafa Heron. Back the other way. Rodney Purvis, a quick layup, and he misses it. Auburn is the team that's going to look to run. And here's Heron, the Waterbury, Connecticut native. He has it go off the window, and it's a rebound to Connecticut. And now we'll set things up with Jalen Adams running the show for Connecticut. Because of injuries, he's been pressed into a point guard role. As Seth rejoins me here as they get the ball down low to Facey, who has become an offensive force as he hits the turnaround jumper.
Facey building off of his last game where he had 20 against North Florida.
UConn early. And Jill Purifoy and Mustafa Heron shoot both over 40% from three-point land.
Kevin Ollie's done an absolutely terrific job here at UConn. This team reflects his passion and his intensity.
Working on Seth's microphone to make sure you guys at home can hear him. And this is the newcomer, Wiley. Long three, and that one is good. And 3 points for Jared Harper.
Very interesting. Coming off, this is their game, 9 days. It doesn't look is going to game.
This year, that time the lane is up for a flush. And UConn back on top.
This is an Auburn team that tries to deny and disrupt, but struggles at times defensively with their principles.
Purifoy on the baseline. Auburn starts 4 freshmen. Amita Breimer, the tough test there, and the jump hook is missed.
Bradley, it'll be interesting to see Connecticut. They're going to look to attack early in the clock, but then after that, they're going to try to move the ball, move defense, and make Auburn make a defensive mistake. When you start 4 freshmen, maintaining a defensive intensity many times is difficult.
They lay off Breimer at the top of the key, but they'll try to work through him on that screen and roll, which they do there. He gets it down low and lays it off the window. That's a play they worked on a lot.
Ball screen defense, really difficult. Floor to Purifoy to shoot threes.
Harper missed a long 3. Good position for the defensive rebound. Either one of these teams terrific when it comes to rebounding. And right away, Bruce Pearl's got coming in off the bench at the next whistle. Jalen Adams to the rack by himself. Nobody picked up Ryman, but he can't control the rebound. Auburn pushes it again. It's Purifoy. He launches a three. In and out. That time the offensive rebound picked up by T.J. Lang.
If this was a football game, time of possession, Connecticut's going to look to grind it out. This is an Auburn team that's going to look to attack, open it up, and throw it deep.
If Wiley the 2 points on the offensive. His parents both at Auburn, and both were very good players. His mom and
that was reflective of his dad. His dad led the rebounding one year. He forgot the rebound.
Just wanted it, but he didn't get it. And Adams now, tricky dribbles through the key, and now Purvis launches a long three off to the right.
Auburn really pushing Adams to go to his left hand this weekend, not letting him get back to the right side of the floor.
Purifoy has a height advantage over Jalen Adams, and he's going to get called for wrapping up Austin Wiley. So I didn't actually have a choice. Greenberg or Pearl sitting next to me. Who do you think I would have chosen?
I think you would have been with me, but I'll tell you what.
Storage space? You're looking in the wrong places. Find affordable storage ideas to keep things out of the way in whole new ways. Like these clear latching totes starting at just $5.48, only at the Home Depot.
Stuff is on fire.
State Farm knows. Moments, there's one of these.
Bro, their stuff is fire.
Someone better call the
Yeah, you fire department. This is your stuff.
More people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm. Here to help life go right.
Welcome back, everyone. Auburn has hoisted 8 shots. They've made only 2 of them. They're 1 of 4 from 3, and Connecticut's got themselves a 6-5 lead. Seth has left. Bruce Pearl, he's joined us. The microphone issues have all been worked out. Happy holidays to you, big fella.
Seth,
you were excited going to the break. You think we got a good game, contrast styles here?
I think it is a contrast style. You're looking at a Connecticut team that needs to control the tempo of basketball. They'll look to push it early, but if not, they need to defend in the half court. Auburn, on the other hand, because they're so young, they attack in position. They want to penetrate. 3. The difference maker for Auburn right now is Austin Wiley.
Yeah.
He gets to put back right there. His mom was a great player. His dad was a great rebounder. I think he's got the best of both worlds.
One of the big stories around college basketball, but in particular for Connecticut, injuries early part of the season. They lost 3 of their best players, Seth, in Tariq Gilbert with a torn labrum, Terry Larriere with a left ACL, and Mamadou Diarra, who's got ultimately a issue with his knee, patellofemoral syndrome.
And 3 players that really were difference makers. Larriere, to me, was their best overall player. Tariq Gilbert enabled Jalen Adams to play off the basketball and being what I call a ball guard. All right, Diarra is a big-time rebounder. So Kevin Eiley staying positive, continuing to coach his team, but he's made some changes in terms of the identity of this basketball team. Most importantly, the zone offense.
Speaking of changes, Seth, you just saw that shot from T.J. Dunnan's the game for Bruce Pearl, as is LaRon Smith, who wears 12. Adams alley-oop, Prima fouled, and it was Smith. Another substitution and somebody to watch for UConn. Number 1, Christian Vitale, good-looking shooting point guard who's tenacious on the defensive side.
Vitale is what I call a city guard or a ball guard. He has a good feel for the game. Shot selection a little suspect right now, but he's got a little Kevin Ollie in him, and then he's got a toughness about him and a competitive spirit. He's got to improve his shot selection. But this enables Adams to play a little bit more off the ball. Now they can advance pass it to Adams. He can attack a little bit. Auburn, on the other hand, Robbie, figure out this ball right now because Adams is into the teeth of the offense.
Rare. Both those has got themselves an 8-5 Ronnie Johnson, who wears 35 with the ball in his hands right now. Dunnins had a buzzer beater against Mercer earlier this season to help Auburn off to that 9-2 start. They're cold from the outside right now.
Yeah, they've got to get the ball to the high post and to the baseline and not settle. Johnson's a playmaker, play starter. He's putting this game to move the ball and get the ball where it needs to go in the middle of the defense.
Three from the corner, in and out, nearly buried by Adams, but he couldn't get it to go. Think about Auburn. They started 4 freshmen. You mentioned just learning that defense. How difficult to play 4 freshmen?
Really difficult. The biggest transition for freshmen is learning how to compete each and every play. And then your defensive principles change because you can't take a play off at this level and expect to be successful.
So safe to say, because of all the freshmen, this will get better, right?
No doubt about it. Got size, length, athleticism, guys that can make off the, and they have a this to them. It's the positive about freshmen. They just play. I mean, they're out there playing ball. Got to be committed defensively. Kevin Ollie, very good on underneath out of bounds situations. See what he has going on right here.
Stephen Enoch into the game, as is Juwan Durham, a sophomore Enoch, a freshman Durham who wears 23. He's had some knee issues of his own. Now battling to get position down low as Purvis sends it high off the window. Rodney Purvis off to a good start for Connecticut. He's got 4.
I love when Rodney Purvis attacks off the dribble. Once again, you can't give up straight line drives defensively. Help was late. Purvis takes advantage of it.
Keep an eye on number 5, Mustafa Heron, a Waterbury, Connecticut native. Played at Hart High School in 3 state, Connecticut. College.
With another 3. He had back-to-back 27-point games. Struggled the day against Oklahoma. He needs to get something going at the rim.
Purvis launching a 3 from the corner. He misses. UConn playing good defense here early. They're in that 2-3 zone. Something Kevin Ollie said they're playing a little more and more. Now they switch back to a man, but they like what Behi said. Now I understand what Jim Behi's been doing for so many years.
Yeah, he's forcing people to shoot these jump shooting teams. They're active and they're long and they're athletic. This team fits a 2-3 zone. Kevin Ollie's a man-to-man coach, and that's going to be the foundation. But again, when you have injuries, sometimes you've got to make some changes, and this is part of the new identity for Connecticut to give them a chance to win games. 4
seconds on the shot clock on the inbounds. Dunnins trying to do it himself. The lead, no. Again, an empty possession. They're 2 of 4.
He can get to the offense. He'll be a big player in this because he doesn't settle.
Tough pass that Purvis was able to hold on to, and a rough shot, a skyhook from Juwan Durham, the freshman. Misses everything. Another 3 on the way. That one off, and a good defensive rebound position for Stephen Enoch. Hi, Coach. We're 2 for 14.
We're 2 for 14, and we're settling with shooting early threes. And you saw Ronnie Johnson right there on the way back saying, settle down. Right? That's a 5th-year senior understanding. We've got to get a feel and kind of get into this game a little bit, settle into the game. Right now, Auburn has not settled into the pace of the game.
Enoch draws the foul on Anthony McLemore. Pearl, they have a ton of. They usually are 9. Waddell's like a 10 guy on the team.
Game, 9 days, probably trying to send a message to some of his younger players about how hard you have to play. I would think that he's trying to get someone to compete at a higher level.
A 6-0 run for Connecticut. They've worked them over on the offensive glass. That's been a problem for both these teams, but Auburn in particular gives up a lot of offensive rebounds.
Bruce Pearl with a call to get the ball, reversal, chin action. He's going to try to get some type of dribble handoff.
Dunnins is a good 3-point shooter, and he knocks that one down. He's kind of a settler guy. He's kind of a settler guy.
That's your guy right there, Dunnins. You're big on him. But that right there, that's Bruce Pearl saying, you know what, we're struggling with our shot selection. Let's make a call, move the ball, move people, and dictate the shot we take.
Auburn's first points in almost 5 minutes. Vitale, Purvis sets his feet for a three, comes up short.
How quickly Auburn tries to get to the offense.
Johnson, good touch as he laid it over the outstretched arm. The defender on that play. From hook off the window with some nice touch.
Back-to-back possession. Defensive transition. Stop the ball earlier. Level the ball off. Straight line drives will kill you.
Dunnins gets away with a walk. No, he doesn't. They call the travel. And UConn's got themselves a 4-point cushion there, Seth.
Jalen Adams is explosive in transition. You got to keep him in front. Great change of direction. Explosive. Huskies up 4.
Lions Cowboys tonight on ESPN.
Unwrap the gifts and the tradition that is now NBA on Christmas Day. 5 great games. Starts off with the third-place Celtics against the Knicks. You'll see the Cleveland Cavaliers at 2:30 Eastern Time against Golden State. That, of course, is the rematch of the NBA Finals. At 5, Bulls and the Spurs over to ESPN for the T-Wolves and the Thunder. And then the day wraps at 10:30 with the Clippers, who may be without Chris Paul. He suffered a hamstring injury last night against the Spurs. 5 star-studded matchups that can be seen on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. And you can say,
ho, ho, ho!
Yes.
I'll tell you where I'm going to be, Robbie.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the comfy couch. Kind of settle in about 1 o'clock. Missed the first half of the first game. Settle in.
The Seth K.
At midnight.
You like the Wonder Dog be sitting down there?
In the recovery.
He had an early bucket. Vance Jackson launched high off the iron. And his check back in. Maybe calming some nerves. Got about 200 from Waterbury who have come about an hour to see him. Paul and Jalen Adams on the other end lays it in.
Defensive transition. You've got to stop the basketball. You got to communicate. Defensive transition is basically a reflection of a young basketball team not communicating.
Going to get Vance Jackson there and basically tackle TJ Lang.
Defensive transition. Herron tries to get in lane, but you got to have floor balance. Floor balance is the key. In transition, so hard to keep out of the lane, finishes at the right now. Shocking, but Connecticut is yet to make a turnover. Defense is denied disrupt. They have not taken Connecticut out of any flow offensively.
Mustafa Herron knocks down a 3, and it's like the last 3 from him. You mentioned floor balance offensively.
Floor balance. A guard drives it in, the other guard has got to cover the backcourt. If you don't cover the backcourt, all of a sudden, and all 5 offensive players are below the foul line, you're susceptible to a run out like Jalen Adams just had.
Purifoy doesn't take that 3, penetrates, free throw line, jumper, no good. Big rebound there, and it's Enoch who comes away with it. UConn crashing their own defensive glass.
UConn making Auburn settle for shots. Right now, you've got to move the ball. Purifoy, quick shot. Lang, quick shot. Even Herron's 3 was a quick shot. They've got to move the defense.
Facey to the hole, little jump hook misses. The other thing about Connecticut so far, Seth, 0 turnovers in the game.
Yeah, 0 turnovers against a team that basically is averaging 9 steals a game. And their whole mindset, Ravi, is to deny and disrupt. They're not disrupting anything now.
Block out of bounds. And Purifoy, like the Auburn, the floor. I think they try to get the ball into Austin more.
They got to get Wiley a touch, and they got to get something downhill at the rim, as opposed to just settling to being a jump shooting team.
Well, they miss another jump shot. That was Herron.
One thing shooting open threes, Ravi. The other thing shooting contested threes. You're going to shoot 3-point shots. Move the ball, move the defense, and shoot step-in threes like that.
They're 3 of 9 from 3. Air ball from the corner there. That was Christian Vitale.
The pace of this game is very much in Connecticut's favor. Right now, Auburn Getting easy scoring out of their defense. They're not getting their defense right now.
Lima sets a screen. Leads to a three-point attempt. Corner miss. And it's Adams who settles up. UConn 0 for 7 from 3. We said no turnovers. They commit the turnover.
And that's just a long pass. When you're playing a team that's going to overplay, deny, or pressure, you got to shorten your passes. One-hand passes, you can't pull back. That's the first opportunity that Auburn's had to get out in transition. That's a win for Kevin Ollie. That turnover doesn't work, but taking care of the basketball, having good floor balance, keeping Auburn out of transition, those are really important things if Connecticut's going to win this basketball game.
Free throw made by Jared Harper. Scores almost 12 a game.
Really good free throw shooter. Made 11 out of 12 against Oklahoma this past week. Harper's a little undersized, but has a toughness and a confidence about him. We're talking to Sonny Smith, the former Auburn coach who does the video. He really likes Harper because Harper can just go out and make plays and get you.
The towel pulled up and like he could have had an alley-oop. Kind of yelling at him.
He's got to throw that over the top, but that's the for Auburn. And what I mean by that is a little bit of pressure speeds up UConn, and a quick shot is like a turnover in that situation. They want UConn to get out of their comfort zone and play faster than their abilities or faster than they can to be successful in this game. Yep. That's a win for the Auburn defense.
They went into a little full court pressure off the inbounds. UConn had a 2-on-1, but they threw it into a bad shot.
Get wide and make that defender make a decision. Poor decision right there offensively.
Heron all the basket. That ball deflected away. More good defense. Facey. And you just perhaps forcing the issue a little bit. They just played a game in Connecticut. They just played at Mohegan Sun Arena and beat Oklahoma. And here they are again in Connecticut. Left the state. And Heron has his hometown folks. 1-point game, 16-15. Talked about Mustafa Heron. You take a look at what he did. A 3-time All-State honoree. Sacred Heart won 3 consecutive state titles. He averaged 30 and 8 as a senior. Very involved with the community as well. In fact, mentioned they played at Mohegan Sun on the off day. He was back at home and he visited the Boys and Girls Club. He went to an elementary school and he went to high school as well. And very involved in the literacy program too that he started for kids as a motivational tool, kind of reward deal. You read and you acquire will and involved with that community, but he didn't really want to home set, didn't want to play in the state where of course UConn is the sport in the state.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It might be because Connecticut A was out of scholarships, or B because Rodney Purvis is returning. That's his position. He didn't want to wait or share time as a freshman. He goes to Auburn, gets a chance to start right away. He's the leading scorer, averaging 6 rebounds a game, and he's playing on a very similar stage in the SEC.
Neither team shooting well at all. 8 for 22 for Connecticut, 5 for 21. That's 23% for Auburn. They miss another layup. Shot being contested by Huskies on defense, and now will look to push it. Defense got back. Vance Jackson launches a 3, can't get it. The rebound to him, got fouled.
For both these teams is an issue, and Vance Jackson, he's got a terrific stroke. He's really struggled shooting the ball. Think about time of possession. Auburn, 11 or 17 possessions. They shoot it within 15 seconds.
That would be great if you were hot. Like I could see doing that if you're hot. They're not.
And it's not just in transition. So they've got to figure out a way to get things at the basket. And then, yeah, Connecticut's blocking shots. And what do? You drive it in there, come to a stop, redirect the basketball, and now you're shooting a step-in open shot as opposed to trying to play through contact.
Vance Jackson misses the first. Connecticut is not a good free throw shooting team. They shoot 62%. As you take a look at Bruce Pearl, who worked with us at ESPN for a couple of years.
What was the over/under on him sweating through that suit?
100%. There was no under. It was 100%.
And you see this pressure from Connecticut. This is more pressure, really. Just make a young man team handle, play, block, and now play fast.
Heron the drive. Oh, what a play! And that's Mustafa Heron up over Amita.
Mustafa Heron has the ability to finish. Nice job of using a back dribble, throwing it over the top of this pressure, and then Heron wing, taking it to the rack, drawing a foul. Heron has the ability to shoot the ball from three, but he also has the ability to play to and through contact. He's kind of a hybrid forward. He can play small forward, he can play two guard, all right, but he's got a toughness to his game. And to me, he's got a little bit of an old school game, Ravi, you know what I mean?
Sure.
A versatility to his game, kind of like a golf game.
Old and golf don't usually go together.
Versatility, short, long game.
Thinking man's game.
Cerebral.
They did not get the inbound. Threw it without anybody touching it.
That is Auburn. Well, that's pressure inbound, and they called 55. Bruce Pearl learned from Dr. Davis, had so much success at BC, Stanford, and Iowa. And what they're going to try to do is get some extra possessions to travel.
Ooh, they're going to call the travel. Almost looked like Brima, who's got a couple on him already. May have hooked, but no hook, and they get the travel and a turnover.
Watch this press right here, Ravi. They'll put the 5 on the ball. They're in a face guard situation with the center fielder. Purifies the center fielder. They're going to try to deny the ball in bounds, try to get one trap, and then bam, they're out of the zone. Once the ball's inbounded, if they can't get a trap, they're back, and they're going to set their defense.
That shot count? It should count. Then they foul off UConn, and that, is it on Brima? Third. So Brima, like he's going to the bench with 3 fouls. It looked like it never should have went in, crawled over him, but watch Brima come in and
Brima
push
comes
from behind.
over the back. That's called a wedge rebound. All right, if his hands are straight up, he maybe gets away with that. Silly foul, really. He was not in position to offensive rebound the basketball.
Patel's 3 was the first for Connecticut today. They're 1 of 9. Purifoy went up to shoot, and that may be a 3-point play. McLemore gets it to go.
And that's more Auburn basketball. Use the ball screen, force 2 to play the ball, and now all of a sudden you have a chance to throw the ball to the roll or something at the rim. Brima comes out. Not as much rim protection for Connecticut with Brima out of the basketball game. Auburn to attack more to try to get to Brima out.
An interesting look as McLemore knocks the free throw down at Brima, Seth, who of course has been here for a long time, and you've got Austin Wiley, who's currently on the bench. But this felt like if you go in with a guy like Brima, that would be an advantage for Connecticut. But Brima, not sure if the word hasn't developed, but there has not been the leap, and UConn was famous for developing big men.
They've had great big men, but Brima's a guy that never developed a personality offensively. See, to me, I think when you think of bigs offensively, have a move and a counter. That's all you need. But you also have to have a disposition that you're going to demand the basketball. I don't think he's ever demanded the basketball. Now, he can protect the rim. When you don't rebound your position and you don't demand the basketball offensively, those are things you're looking for the bigs to do.
One thing UConn wanted to do that was at the top of their wish list, not get in foul trouble. Brima's got 3. Jalen Adams has 2. So that means Enoch and Facey down low will have to control the glass. And Christian Rodney Purvis are going to have to run the show. Those injuries we talked about, they're about 8 deep. That's it. Purvis off balance, long, big rebound by Enoch down low. To go, call the walk-on.
I think he stepped out of. Really like Enoch. I like his size, I like his physicality. He lacks a little confidence, and he's got to figure out where he wants the ball. A big guy like that, they say he has bad hands. I say right now, he's just got to look the ball into his hand, and they need to be better passers. Notice right now, offensively, what Auburn's trying to do, Ravi, is Bruce Pearl is dictating the shot a little bit more. Like right there, he calls that his chin action. He's making this team move the ball, move people, all right, and attack it by ball and people as opposed to just making a basketball play.
TJ Lang misses another throw. They're not shooting very well from the field, and that throw allows UConn to maintain a 1-point advantage as we head to the 5 mark. Given that Auburn so poorly, Seth, to be only 1 point down, it feels like this could be a 10.
It should be, but the one thing we realize is that Connecticut's an offensively challenged team as well.
Kent Facey doing a heck of a job on the offensive glass as he will go to the line. Want to remind everybody, later today right here on ESPN, 2 more bowl games, 4:30, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. That's Louisiana Tech, high-flying, big-time passing offense, and Navy, of course, is good a running game as there is in the country. Then at 8, the Dollar General Bowl with Ohio taking on Troy. SportsCenter follows that. Both games stream live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. It's been interesting to watch Facey become, and perhaps because of injury, but he's become an offensive option. As a coach, how often does someone emerge and be like, wow, we're getting more out of it either we thought or he's starting to figure it out.
Light bulb goes on different times for different players, Ravi, but also out of necessity. If you think about it, they don't have great depth, so now Facey's playing for his mistakes. He's playing with confidence, and as a fifth-year senior, you expect that from him. This kid right here. Right? The last years, he's started games for this Connecticut team, but now he's got to be aggressive offensively for this team to have a chance to be successful.
Just trying to watch Bruce Pearl's body language. Every time a 3 goes up that misses, he turns around, looks at his bench, and kind of spreads his arms like, why are we doing this again? They're 3 of 11 from three-point land.
And early threes, Ravi, and that's a problem.
Enoch gets it to go, and he's going to go to the line as McLemore picks up the foul. Both Enoch and Facey look offensively than Ryan has looked in 4 years.
Real good job of feeding the ball, getting it to Enoch. Watch his patience, his ability to get to his shoulder. He can shoot over either shoulder. Terrific entry pass. Terrific. It's only a sophomore.
Right.
Big guys develop at a different rate. You've got to be patient with front court players. As long as he's playing hard and he's competing, his offense will come around. He's got a big body. All right, you've got to find a way to utilize his strengths.
6 rebounds already. He's only played 7 minutes. Purifoy launches a 3. That's way
a
off.
Bad shot.
Purvis may go by himself. 1 on 3. There's the rebound by Facey and the flush. Auburn is 7 of 27 from the floor and 3 of 12 from 3.
Ravi, these bad shots are leading to runouts for Connecticut. That is just a poor decision by Purifoy. Nice job of getting downhill by Harper, but right now is dysfunctional. They're not looking for each other. Quick shots, runouts. Basically, Auburn can't set.
Harper's got 7. They're doing this, Connecticut. Adams and Brima on the bench. Facey working hard again. In and out. And a chance to cut the lead to 2, if not 1, with a 3. Harper again, blocked from behind. Kevin Ollie saying, let's slow it down. Let's set up the offense.
That's a nice job of Harper getting inside the defense, but if you feel pressure, come to a stop, make a play for your teammate. Right now, Auburn's not making any plays for each other.
Enoch also said recently, Seth, as he gets that one to go, he stopped worrying a lot. What do you think he means by that?
I think sometimes you've got to stay in the present. All right, you're going to make mistakes throughout a game to get to the next play. I think what happened was Enoch at times play instead of getting play. Great catch right there.
And as we were told earlier by Kevin Ollie, there's a difference between worrying and caring.
And Kevin Ollie cares about his players and bringing guys along, staying with him, empowering them. Like, he's not using these injuries as excuses. He said, we've got to kind of reestablish who we are, redefine our identity, and everyone else has got to step up and make plays. And that's what they're doing right now, and they did it against North Florida as well.
Facey has room for the offensive glass. He got bumped out of the way. Coming off a 20-point effort. Facey has 7. We'll get the foul on the floor. And the crowd doesn't agree with it here at the XL Center.
When you don't take good shots, what happens is it gives the offense a chance to get out in transition. Rodney Purvis with the putback by Facey.
Mother, you can go anywhere as long as you're Arkansas. Frank Boyles told us when we were young men, coaching us, about the fourth quarter of life. Probably one of anything I've ever been.
Saw teammates destined to become legends. An SEC storied film, Before They Were Cowboys, Wednesday at 9 on the SEC Network, presented by Chick-fil-A.
Coming up on the Land Rover Halftime Report, the biggest challenger to Big Blue in the SEC. Could it be this Auburn team we're watching?
Not with the kind of shot selection we've seen in the first half. They have no shot against Kentucky.
Plus at the half for you American fans, the OT escape for the Bearcats and what it could mean looking ahead. Coach Carl, we'll see you on the Land Rover Halftime Report in just a minute.
All right, looking forward to thank you. Also looking forward to win the basket a little more. Both teams up to brutal starts. The one sort of silver lining in a three-point goal effort of 1-11 Connecticut is coming off their win over North Florida. Coming out. The good news is we started to get the ball inside.
They are getting the ball inside. 20 of the 29 points are coming inside the paint. They've done a good job of getting to the offensive glass. And you know what? They're playing more downhill, trying to get the ball into the paint. Enoch with 2 baskets on really good decisions. On the other hand, Auburn, their decision-making has not been good. They're settling for contested threes. They're not second-siding the ball, and right now they're not really playing for each other. And what has to happen is the more baskets they can score, they can get into that pressure, which you're going to get into right now. But when they get into the half court, right, it's got to be more than one pass. You've got to move the ball and move defense and not settle. And they've settled for threes, and every bad shot, you know what's happened, Ravi?
A run out.
Run out. See ya.
Seth Bryma has 3, Jackson has 3, and Adams has 2 fouls for a team that's got no depth. Concerned about that with $1:50 to go in the half?
What I think is now is run the clock down in this, run it down to the last 10 minutes, and then try to make sure they can. A lot of times you try to go 2 for 1. He's going to really try this as long as possible. And ideally, he's going to try to get the ball to Purvis or to Enoch on the block. There it is to Enoch.
Against
Beautiful.
Wiley, and the fadeaway drops. Enoch and Facey have been the offensive scorers today for Connecticut. And he's got 6 points and 6 rebounds now to Stephen Enoch.
And that was great offense. Move the defense, reverse the basketball, isolate a post player on the block. He wants to catch it. Terrific 2-man basketball.
Aaron 2 of 7 from the floor is 6 points. We've seen some of that highlight. Rebound and another block for Connecticut. And Purvis doesn't see numbers ahead of him, just a basket, but he had his pocket.
Bad decision.
Harper,
1 on 2.
1 on 4, Seth, and he throws up the pointer.
TJ Lang can really shoot the ball with terrific range. That's a bad decision by a 5th-year senior. Rodney Purvis, advantage, disadvantage. You're 1 on 2. All right, back the ball out. You've got 2 of your players that have issues. Pull it out, run the clock. Decision making could be key in this basketball game. Auburn on a little mini run.
Annual NBA on Christmas Day tradition is 5 big games. And how about Golden State and Cleveland combined 47 and 10? Are we looking at a rematch of the NBA Finals? And looking at a preview of this year's NBA Finals. How about the Warriors last night rallying from a 16-point halftime deficit to beat the Nets.
You think they can score a little bit?
Whenever they want.
They got some dudes who can make shots. I'll tell you, OKC Timberwolves,
you like
Karl
that?
Anthony Towns
Yes.
is redefining a front court player in the NBA. He is so good. He's got skills with the Z.
I like what you're doing there. That's like mad skills.
Yeah, like mad skills.
They set up Purvis for the jump, in and out, another up rebound and a foul. Juwan Durham to the line.
Durham's a great story. Played at Tampa Prep High School. Before he played there, hadn't played since February 2015. Played for the great Joe Fenlon, who'd been at Tampa Prep forever, went into the Florida Coaching Hall of Fame this year. Durham's going to be a really good player. It takes time to get your legs back underneath. You had 2 ACL surgeries.
Misses the free throw. Connecticut has got 10 offensive rebounds. We got 5 on the clock. Auburn's led for just 22 seconds in the first half. Will they lead going into the break? No, they will not. A 3 from Harper misses, which is sort of the story of the first half.
That play reflected the whole first half. First side, settle for a 3 instead of trying to get downhill and make a play for your teammate.
So what do you call LaFonso Ellis, America's?
Oh, he's the happiest analyst in America. It doesn't get any better than LaFonso Ellis. Everyone's on in Bristol today.
31-30 game going here. Send it back to the studio at the break. Is point, guys.
Carl, coach.
Everyone, the American Conference on ESPN. Non-conference game, SEC, AAC on a 1-point lead as we quickly, not even sweater, that's like jacket
coat
tie
right there.
combo.
How about that?
With black t-shirt underneath look.
That's so bad it's good.
It went from so bad it found good on the other side.
I mean, with the hat and the whole bit, I mean, he's got the whole thing.
It hasn't been great.
Going hunting.
It hasn't been great as far as shooting goes here, and especially from three-point land where UConn is 1 for 11. They're getting a lot of points in the as well. Second half, still a very competitive basketball game.
This could be an interesting basketball game. But UConn 20 points in the paint. Did a good job of playing for Enoch when he came in. Got the ball first. They got him posted, finished, and then in ball screen situations. On the ball screen, Amita Bryman gets in front of the rim and finishes. Shot over. What happens is Connecticut gets out in transition and they run the floor. Kent Facey, terrific. Facey and Enoch, to me, their front court, very productive for UConn in the first half.
Take a look at the numbers. None of them are very pretty at all. UConn did have 20 offensive rebounds and 29 overall. I should say 20 points in the paint, the 29 rebounds. Part of the problem for Auburn this year, in spite of the fact that they're 9-2.
And yet they're only down 1 point.
Right.
They've got to clean up their shot selection. They can't settle. And then they got to find somehow, some way to establish someone in the low block.
UConn picks up an early foul here as we are just underway in the second half. It goes against Stephen Enoch. And the foul's beginning to pile up a little bit. And the turnover.
That's the game before Christmas right there. The lack of ability just to look the ball in your hands and concentrate. Be looking at what's happening in front of you. But
so the game before we're on really break right after this game, and we can't focus on the game.
They're going 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Not going home to Auburn. Wherever their home is, they'll probably fly from here.
Right.
They've also played 4 games in 9 days and been on the road a long period of time. This will be a challenge for Auburn.
Kevin Ollie showing some real support for Enoch, who works his way into the lane as he gets the start in the second half.
How about that patience he had? Moved his man to the middle. Big guys who catch it on the block, work to the middle. Great job by Enoch, and he likes that left block.
They've given Heron that shot, and that time he does a job with that left hand.
That's a one play, but at least it was downhill. He's, to me, a hybrid guard. Small forward, 2 guard, slide to the 4 because of his strength. But they've got to he's at the basket. But again, first side. You're not going to make him one pass and attack. You got to move.
Like going inside. We'll see if they do that again. They're looking for Enoch. Adams pulls up. He can't get it to go in a box by Purifoy. who was 0 for 5 in the first half from the field from three-point land. Wiley, and that's his second bucket of the game.
That's terrific. Early offense, Wiley establishes himself, and they take the time to make one extra pass to get an angle to feed the post.
It's a game that in no way feels like Auburn should have the lead, and they do. At 34-33, Adams to Facey inside. Denied there by Wiley. He went straight up and caused some problems.
Terrific play by Wiley. You're talking about walling up, hands straight up, verticality once again right into the block. I like what he's doing to start the second half. Right here in transition. You've reversed the basketball, and look at Wiley seal, target, and finish. This is exactly what Bruce Pearl's looking for at a halftime. Establish some type of offense, and then all of a sudden the floor will open up. That's a carry.
They get a foul on the floor, though, before that, Seth. Call it on Christian Vitale. And again, the fouls continue to pile up for Connecticut and Kevin Ollie without a lot of depth.
Watch on this underneath that a bounce play. They're going to try to get the ball inbound and then duck Wiley, and actually he broke the play right there. The guy's only practiced 3 days, and he's playing in a college basketball game on national TV. So you talk about the percentage of your package in, it's minuscule. They're going to try to get on the block.
Up goes off and out of bounds off.
You like the way Heron's playing? Yeah, a little different, right?
He's been more aggressive, and they tried to get the ball inside the Wiley. Just brutal from the outside in the first half of the team.
That's the reflection of being a young basketball team. When you start 4 freshmen, you're going to play like you're starting 4 freshmen at times.
Enoch out, Bryma back in. Adams all the way to the hole, and an easy layup.
They are attacking Wiley in ball screens. As a young player that's only been here a couple of practices, really not understanding ball screen defense.
Good offensive rebound, though, Seth. Not afraid to go up and mix it up. At 6'11".
He's a big body. He's got soft hands. But you put Wiley in a ball screen, and what happens is he's supposed to level it off, keep it in front. That's a snake move. Adams twists it right back with the snake, gets to the rim. They like putting Wiley in ball screen. Adjustment for a young player defensively.
Yeah, it was Harper who launched straight away.
You know what I say as a coach? Why would we take that shot inside and dribble the ball to the front of the rim? You don't have to take that shot anytime.
Adams, good pass, and Bryant for it.
Passer is receiver, Ravi. That's a great pass, but not a pass that Amita Bryant can catch. Yeah, it's a great look, but a bad pass. You can't throw him a fastball in short quarters. You got to throw it to him where he can catch it.
That's knowing your receiver?
Exactly. It's like throwing a knuckleball pitcher thrown to a guy with a little mitt. Does that make sense?
To a degree.
Okay, thank you.
Great dish down low and a strong finish there. Definitely working the ball inside more. That's McLemore who finishes.
Dribble penetration. You know what you do? You get paint touches, defense, and high percentage outs. Bruce Pearl, message sent, message received. What do you think?
So far, they've definitely received it. Adams only has 6 points for UConn. He averages 18. That block brings Auburn to the offense, and Harper looks for the oop. Instead, the trailer is Heron. He lays it up and lays it in.
That is more of what Bruce Pearl's looking for. Active, alert defense leads to easy offense, and more importantly, Harper giving himself up and making a play for a teammate. That's what Bruce Pearl's looking for. Active, alert defense. You can get out in transition. Harper gets himself under control. Heron with a dime and the finish.
And the biggest lead for Auburn here in Connecticut. Doing some work before the winter break. Bruce, third year in Auburn, 6 years at Tennessee, made the NCAA tournament every year. He's got a young man. He starts 4 freshmen to get roster and juniors.
And that's what building the program's all about. Acquiring good players, getting them in a system that fits their talents.
Ooh, Purvis came down hard on his left hip. As 3 Auburn defenders converged on him.
They cannot afford another injury.
We're going to take a timeout. Purvis up, but very, very gingerly walking around. Auburn up 38-35 as the timeout continues. When we went to break, we were watching Rodney Purvis get back up off the floor after being fouled. He landed on his left hip. Seth said that's the last thing they can afford is another injury. It looks like Purvis is going to continue.
You drive it that hard, all right, and the defense is going to shrink. You're going to be contact, but they cannot afford Rodney Purvis to go down. Terrific downhill drive and a clean play. That's physical basketball, but they've got 3 guys out right now that Kevin Ollie was relying on. All 3 of these guys are impact players. Larry Air, to me, he was their best player. Gilbert enabled him to play Adams off the basketball, and Diarra was maybe their best rebounder. So you're playing impact players. You can't.
If you have those impact, assuming you have all 3 of them and they're healthy, does the entire complexion of UConn and the perception of UConn change? Because during the break, asked a lot, well, what's wrong with UConn? What happened to UConn?
They had lost games early, but yeah, this is a basketball team. You know, everyone said, well, they lost to Northeastern early. Well, Michigan State lost to Northeastern as well. But more importantly, those kids were freshmen, some of them. And it takes time. But yeah, this team would be a very different team. Kevin Ollie's done a terrific job keeping this team in the present and taking his team, not making excuses, making changes, and continuing to coach his team.
Dunnan's penetrated. That one high arc over Brima. Be Purvis who's looking to push again. That time he dished it, and we'll have a foul. Purvis got hit. They're not going to call the initial foul. They'll call it to Jalen Adams.
Dunnans gave up an easy opportunity to make an You see the message Bruce Pearl at halftime. We got to play for each other. First half, they had 3 assists. We've got 5 minutes into the second half. They've got already 4 for 7 from the field. They're getting better shots. They're getting dribble penetration, and they're moving the defense and moving the basketball. Much better approach by Auburn in the second half.
Enoch only has 2 personal fouls, but he's on the bench. They've looked like the best offensive unit when he's been on the floor.
I like Enoch.
Jackson made 1 good ball flick, then the shot was blocked by Spencer, which sets up a 3 from Purvis that goes in and out. And sloppy ball work by Auburn allows UConn to take command again.
Why do you make a simple, big guys, you know what you do in that situation? Come to a jump stop, put 2 hands on the basketball, and hand the basketball off. All of a sudden, he's going to be dropping dimes like he's Trent Dilfer or someone. Obviously, Spencer is not Lonzo Ball at UCLA.
No, he's not. Adams straight 3. They're going to need Jalen Adams moving here. Second 3-pointer that UConn has today in 14 attempts.
Jalen Adams is one of those guys that can take over a basketball game.
How about Dunnans with a little one-handed floater? Bruce Pearl says of T.J. Dunnans, he makes everybody on the floor better offensively. That unselfish pass, and now he takes it himself.
He gets in the lane kind of at ease, doesn't he? Kind of slides in there. He's always under control and on balance.
Facing handoff, and Dunnans with a foul out top.
T.J. Dunnans, easy to him. He's got balls, and he can rim because of his size and his athleticism and attitude. You got to make him put it on the floor. Make him a driver there. He's going to knock that thing down all day. Down the stretch, Adams going to
Patel is back in. Vance sits down for Connecticut.
They are pushing him hard to his weak hand right here, trying to take him out of the middle of the floor. Wiley struggled there.
Alley-oop, wide open to Facey after that high screen from Brima drew the defense out.
Really good decision right there. And not a very alert defensive play off the basket.
Oh, big collision, and Adams is woozy as he gets up with some help from a teammate, but that was a nasty collision between Purifoy and Adams.
That's a terrific offensive play right there. Adams getting in the lane. Watch his ability. He goes, rejects the screen, and then that's a freshman mistake. Purifoy, he watches the ball instead of seeing ball and gives up an easy basket. But that on the other end, Adams absolutely took a hit. It looks like he...
Yep, got a cut over that left eye of his as he's getting tended to now by... This does the issue for Connecticut. Now they've lost, at least temporarily, 4 of their best players. It looks like Adams to their hope will come back, but he ran right into the elbow of D'Angelo Purifoy.
That is a physical play. Just great hustle. 2 players going after the basketball. That is really unfortunate. You're talking about a kid that plays about as hard as anyone every single play, and you can't replace his experience. You're talking about a guy who's used to having the ball in his hands at the end of a game. So it'll be interesting to see how or if Adams comes back.
He's blocker up missed. Wiley can't finish. And Purvis in Connecticut.
Shot selection is going to be really important. Getting in the type of flow, getting the not settled. Look for all pick up their pressure with that game.
Vance Jackson's come back in. Purvis, 2-pointer. It's good. He's a guy that can take over, but it is stunning again now with UConn's injuries that we've talked about, that they have lost Jalen Adams. He's gone back to the locker room, perhaps for some stitches. Good dish to Wiley underneath. He's got 2 guys on him, and he gets fouled. How about Wiley's hands?
I think his hands are fine. And that, again, we're talking about a guy that's practiced for about a week.
Yep.
Dribble penetration by Johnson, looking to make an unselfish play, but tight quarters.
Yep.
Right? That's a really hard catch for a big. Surely a big that's only played with this basketball team for a week. The guy has 2 starts. He has many starts as he's had practices, basically. I mean, everyone else sees the workouts, ball conditioning, lifting. This guy's had 2 practices. He's led the SEC in the rebounding. I talked to Andy Land last week, the old coach of Georgia. He said his mom was better than the league. Vicky Orr was better than the league. She was better than the league. That's how good she was. I'd say those are good genes.
But her first game in college went for 12 and 10. That was her debut. That was against Central Florida in '85. His dad's first game in college, 16 points on 7 of 10 shooting.
That's pretty good, huh?
Pretty good debuts. Purvis got fouled. The other part of the Wiley deal, for those who are wondering, like, well, how does he just show up? He graduated high school early. He was academically clear, enrolled at Auburn, and he was immediately eligible. So he's playing.
And you know what? You get him a chance to play, but right now, terrific job by Kevin Ollie. He's doing, because he's putting Wiley in a ball screen every single possession. You know, there's a difference between either trapping, leveling off, or stringing out a ball screen. What I mean by that is his job right now, they're stringing it out. So his job is to stay between the ball and the basket. That's basically force him to throw it to the roller. But the guards on Connecticut are just attacking him, and he's not taking good angles. And that's, look, the guy's had a couple of practices. That's the process. Great job, though, by Kevin Ollie, recognizing that and attacking Wiley and putting him in those ball screens. Boy, it took me a long time to say that.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes you got to let it breathe, let it come out, make some sense. A lane violation on Wiley there allows the free throw to be made, and Connecticut now is up 45-41. All eyes. Entrance to the locker room to see when Adams comes back. UConn's top scorer, best player. Now they've gone into zone defense.
This is a Syracuse 2-3 zone. This to center. Enoch is back. Forwards are up high.
Frustrated, he picks up another foul. When we come back, Harry Hanukkah or Santa Seth. Either way, he's got to get
life is good.
He's got his reindeer going. He's going to be on the sleigh soon.
Let's go, Jake.
Welcome back, and I am now just delighted to be sitting next to Seth.
Seth is trying to gifts for the UConn Huskies, and that's consistent inside scoring, which they've gotten today from Facey and Enoch, who they might have lost. And then, to me, love, passion, and pride. Kevin Ollie knows UConn more than Kevin Ollie. He is all in with his Huskies. The university, the program, the athletic department. He's a pretty special guy when it comes to UConn and Auburn. This is an Auburn team that, quite honestly, is a work in progress right now, but they've got some talented young players. My gifts for them? Well, they got one already. Austin Wiley.
A big one. Like,
it was an early Christmas.
I mean, how does that get down the chimney?
I don't know how that worked. Wait, Austin, come over here. Say, oh, hold on a second. Hold your breath. And then, the greatest thing about freshmen and band shot selection, they become sophomores if they decide to come back.
I was going to say, there is the other side of that where they decide to become NBA players.
Actually, Santa Seth's pretty good, but my daughters are texting me and saying I need to be Hanukkah Harry.
Yeah, I thought it would be appropriate.
Today, the first day, tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Early Hanukkah gift. Ravish agreement.
I heard Kevin Ollie with Jim about what it was about UConn. He's a kid from California in the LA area. What about UConn? He said, milkshakes. Then he said, when I got there, the first practice, there was a fight. And right away, I felt like I was at home. And that's what got him into the Connecticut sort of family. And he has fallen in love, as you said, with the university. Who else do you want to have that feeling of love and pride? The fans? Who are you asking?
Yeah, I think, to me, I think our fans need to think about the holiday season.
Yeah.
And to one of the things about fans, love your team, but you know what? Don't hate on the other team.
Oh.
Use all your energy to love your team. Embrace your team. And you know what? Every single game is a big game. Don't just get excited for what you think is a big game on your schedule. More importantly, embrace and get every opportunity. But it's all about your team. It's not about the opponent.
So this is the loving Harry Hanukkah Santa Seth. No Scrooge in you.
No Scrooge in me. You're going to see Auburn try to really kind of rack up their defense right now. Try to overplay, deny a little bit more, try to speed Connecticut up without Adams.
Purvis, long arcing three that goes off the back of the iron, and they've been reduced, it feels like, to at least currently one offensive threat, and that's Purvis. Heron three, corner comes up short. The offensive rebound. McLemore misses, ball still loose. Heron to the hole. He can't get it to go. Purifoy loses it, and it's Connecticut ball. And Purvis looks and says, even I can't. 1-on-3, take him on. Again, you just Seth, Jalen Adams just left about a minute and a half ago with a cut over his left eye. The lock is yet to reach. This is the type of game where he around and says, wait a minute, we're take over.
And it's done more right now. Who's really for first half? I thought that Enoch did it. Facey played really well against North Florida, but no one on this Connecticut team has done it before.
There's a block from Enoch. I think that's his fourth today. And a frustration shown by Facey as he gets called for a foul on the floor. That's the third on Facey. You look at the UConn bench, a lot of actually empty seats.
There's not a lot of uniforms. I mean, at the end of the bench, you see Amita Brana. There's not there. None of those two in. to really aggressive. It's going to be 50. Their one trap pressure to face guard anyone trying to get open, having the center field with someone protecting the basket, and putting a lot of pressure on the inbounder. Right there, they're going to get right to the inbounder. See the face guard right there. You've got Purifoy in the back as a center fielder. They're going to try to really deny this ball inbounds. Right there.
Enoch gets it. He had a man up ahead of him, and they find him. And his face finishes with a flush. They got lucky there on a 50-50 ball. Harper slashing through the defense, kicks it out. Lang looked like he so badly wanted to shoot it, but couldn't get a grip on it.
He shot it before he caught it.
Yeah. Auburn is 0 for their last 9 from the field. Now behind the basket Auburn is shooting at on its feet. That's the student section. Three-pointer. Good rebound underneath. Boy gets it to go. And 4.
Terrific play by McLemore. Really active getting to the glass. He just plays really hard. He's the kind of guy that Bruce Pearl's had a lot of success with, whether it was at Tennessee.
You know what else he does? Plays smart. Anthony McLemore got 1670 on his SAT set. He was accepted into MIT.
So that would mean that if we added our SATs up, we would be about where he is.
He's got a 4.0 GPA in advanced classes. That's Anthony McLemore. Foul trouble, those threes are not good. And Adams is beyond the even on the floor. He's not even actually inside the gym. He's in the locker room being tended to, hitting his head on Purifoy, which opened up a cut above his left eye.
Kind of basically playing without a point guard. I mean, you're talking about Ronnie Purvis, who basically plays off the ball, doesn't make plays for others, can knock down jump shots. He's initiating offense. So everyone's role has just changed with Jalen Adams off. You're bringing in a freshman to replace him. Really, really tough situation.
Clinging to a 3-point lead here as we head under the 9-minute mark at the XL Center. Harper all the way to the rack, and he lays it in over the outstretched arm of Brima to make it a 1-point game.
That was a really big-time layup. You know, little guards have to have a lot of different types of layups. Harper has that ability. Kind of a little extended layup over the arm of Brima.
Harper has 11. We'll see if Purvis can stay hot.
Jackson's a big-time shooter that's not doing it well.
Purvis 3, and got a good.
Harper has to use the ball, get downhill, make himself another. Terrific job of challenge. A little extended layup. One thing about UConn, what do you notice? The last 4 possessions, what have they done, Brady? Nothing but what?
Take threes?
Yeah, nothing but
long
jump
shots.
Yeah, they're settling right now. That's a bad shot. That's a heat check, whatever that is. I mean, right there, you've played the first half, you've shared the basketball, you've got downhill, you've made the extra pass. You don't need to settle for that, but again, you're talking about a freshman that is playing on instinct as opposed to playing in regards to time and score. This is a good one, though.
Dunnins as he came on it. And can go to the offensive end. They are 3 of 17 from three-point land. 3 of 17. Their best offensive players have been Enoch down low, but Patel long and way wild. Kevin Ollie looked to his bench to see who he could replace Patel with, and he found nobody.
They need to throw the ball into the block to Enoch. Get Enoch to the left block, throw it in there, and see if he can post up, or face it, I should say, and make a play. He's got a pretty good matchup there with Purifoy. See, they're not going to throw it into Brima very often.
Well, they do now, and Brima is going to get called for an offensive foul. That's his 4th foul. And Ollie's starting to get on Doug Shows and the rest of the officials here at the XL Center. 1-point game, battle of attrition. Connecticut has a 1-point lead over Auburn, 50-49, with Seth Greenberg, Karl Ravitch, and the news continues to get worse for Connecticut. Not only are they in a whole bunch of foul trouble, but they now have lost Jalen Adams for the rest of the game as he is out with a concussion and a laceration over his left eye. But boy, Seth, they literally may have to tap into those blue jerseys at the end of their bench, given their foul trouble.
Jalen Adams is a special player. He gets them easy baskets. He's got a tough, and right there, going for the ball, unfortunate, is a powerful. D'Angelo pure. It's not an easy thing.
He went down. He hit his head on the ground as well. There was no arms to prevent him from hitting his head on the floor. UConn officials confirm a concussion and a laceration over his left eye. And an easy basket and lay in there for Harper, who continues to pile the points up now. He's got 13.
And here comes the pressure. I'll tell you what Harper can do. He can turn the corner in there. A different layup. Took it to the other side of the rim. Took the shot blocker out of the play. Really nice, really interesting little guard.
Backdoor move, Purvis. Blocked, but we'll get a foul as McLemore came over. Got him with his body. So people stay healthy here when it comes to Christmas Day in the NBA. Our tradition continues. 5 great games. Celtics and Knicks. It's kind of old school. You talk about old school. How about Celtics, Knicks old school
you're all
clash?
over that game right there, Robbie.
That's a good one at noon Eastern time. And then, of course, the rematch, Warriors and the Cavs. At 5, the Bulls, Spurs. Everybody Spurs like they're just part of the fabric and don't really ever talk about how great they are. And then it's Seawolves and Thunder. The late one is Clippers and ESPN app. Watch well Christmas Day NBA action on ESPN.
Did you see Popovich's speech to
I did.
Chris Duncan?
Phenomenal.
Tim Duncan, I should say.
Duncan.
How good was that? That was about as good as it gets.
And the point was made about Duncan. He never changed from when he left college in Wake Forest to the final game he played in the NBA.
But he wore a sport coat to the ceremony.
That was the change.
That was the upset of the day. And how about Carmelo Anthony and George Karl? Don't think they're trading gifts for Christmas.
It's interesting, wasn't it?
Furious George.
Yeah.
Gotta get it. Gotta get it. I can't believe he doesn't. Are you kidding me? George unleashed. Guy Harper, Sonny Smith, Auburn's practice.
Former coach at Auburn.
The great Sonny Smith sitting right near the left.
Charles Barkley had him, yeah, all that.
Chuck Pearson was on the court.
We got the Sonny Smith credibility down.
He said that this guy here just finds a way to make plays. And obviously he's done that.
We've had 8 lead changes already in the second half. We had 2 in the first half. And just how UConn, without now Jalen Adams for the rest of the game, is going to be able to hold on to the ball and score is the mystery. Purvis had a wide open layup, and he missed it. Ollie was looking for a foul, but he won't get it. Mustafa Heron the other way. He lays it up and lays it in. Back on top goes Auburn.
You got to stop the basketball defensive transition. That's the play that Heron can make. Heron, he's got a little bit of an old man's game. Didn't rush himself. Got in the lane, unbalanced, strong enough to finish.
Purvis again on the way up. So 2 for he misses. Box out by Vance. It's a bit of a settle there.
Good job of getting the ball in the lane. Defender on Wiley's back. Throw that thing in and let play off of that post pass.
Enoch wipes out a defender, and Jackson misses a 3. And on the ground is T.J. Lang. He's the one that got wiped out by Enoch, and we'll call time to make sure he's okay. Enoch sort of set a pick. Then when he rolled towards the basket, he ran into Lang, and he wiped him out. And they're looking at that left leg.
Team going into the I think the first of Rodney Purvis. To me, he's a world-class athlete, but he's just got to be able to finish. He gets to the front of the rim 2 consecutive plays, and you'd like to see him just turn that thing over and finish it. Ooh, Lang does not look like.
It almost looked the way they were rubbing it, like it was a Charlie horse or a crab. Enoch's knee may have very well landed right above the knee of Lang, right there. Yeah, you can see that right knee connects with his left leg, and he went down like a ton of bricks.
He was doing the right thing defensively. He was supposed to tag the roller. The problem is he was supposed to tag the roller. The roller tagged him. Not a good thing.
You can see how much pain he is in. Again, TJ on the bench. And Adam, superstar, gone to the locker room. Point game with just over 5:20 to play.
You know what time it is right now? Dunning's going to make a play right here.
He made a play at the end of a game to beat Mercer. It was a buzzer beater. It wasn't Dunning's that time. It's your guy, Harper.
Sonny Smith, never doubt Sonny Smith. The former Auburn head coach calls it down the stretch. Harper not afraid to make a play.
Purvis wide open, needs that, and doesn't get it. Jackson had the offensive rebound, and it's picked by D'Angelo Purifoy. Empty possessions for Connecticut, and the foul on Enoch. It's been interesting that you've had 2 drives for Purvis and a 3. They have not got the ball in the hands of either Faith or Enoch. Their best offense.
Play ability weave in there. Terrific job of making different types of layups. Connecticut right now, they've got to make a decision. Who are they going to play through? Obviously, Rodney Purvis has done it before. He can make a play. The problem is he's a play starter right now, and he's also got to score the basketball. That's a lot to put on him. They don't have anyone to throw it into on the block to make a play. I thought that was Enoch, but obviously Ryan is back in with 4 fouls.
Kevin Ollie may not think that way right now. Auburn's got their largest lead. They're on a 7-0 run and lead it by 6. Every trip important for Connecticut to come away with some points. Vance Jackson is fouled, and a little extracurricular activity there on the baseline. Horace Spencer, the sophomore, who is now in the game for Auburn. Part of Auburn's early season issues were that both Horace Spencer and Bryce Brown were arrested and subsequently suspended indefinitely by Bruce Pearl for possession of marijuana. After they, I believe it was 1 game, they allowed to come 2 games. That's why Bruce Pearl said indefinitely, because he wanted to system out, figure out what happened. Jalen Adams, you see Harris come back on the bench, and if you're wondering what a concussion might look like, that might be it. He looks dazed.
It does not look good. I mean, and he was playing really well, just knocked down that big 3. You know, you talk about the heart of the team. Jalen Adams is the heart of this basketball team. And it's got to be very hard on him. But one thing about UConn, they got terrific fans. They're going to stay with this team and try to get a little bit of energy, maybe in the
back to the 2-3 on defense. The shot from Purifoy is missed, and a rebound by Connecticut.
Kevin Allen putting the ball in Waddle's hands and playing Purvis off the down.
Purvis drops, nowhere to go. Vitale long, doesn't follow it, but gets the rebound. Looks for Purvis.
Vitale can knock down that shot.
He's trying. This is another one. As Vitale struggles from the field continue, especially from 3-point land. Now 1 of 5 in Connecticut, 3 of 22.
You're going to see the ball be reversed and probably get back to Harper for a quick sprint out ball screen. Here it comes.
Right by Brima, who didn't want to get his 5th foul, and no help on the other side. And there is no answer for the Roadrunner here. Jared Harper got 18 points.
They can't keep Harper out of the lane. I mean, plain and simple. Harper's absolutely taken over this game since Jalen Adams has left the game. Team defense, but you've got to be up to guard basketball. Jalen Harper, his ability to come off a ball screen, all different types of, he is game over for the Auburn Tigers.
From ahead to our college basketball studios, we'll go from Hartford to Hawaii in just over 16 minutes. Trey Kell warming up last night in a big win over Southern Miss. They got Tulsa next. Northern Kentucky is pushing Mr. 800 wins, and another tough day for the American. Texas State scoring just over 60 points a game coming in. Wins New Orleans. Wow, Ravi.
Zubin, that is a surprise back here. Not a huge surprise. Auburn is now 54. They've gone on a 15-1. UConn has not had a field goal in the last 7 minutes, which does coincide since Jalen Adams suffering a concussion. What Bruce Pearl is doing is building a program. He started 4 freshmen set.
Yeah, when you rebuild a program, Bruce Pearl's as good as any. First meeting with the media and your team, you got to have a clear vision. Boy, he has a clear vision. The energy he brings to it. Have a consistent message, not just to your players, but everyone involved. It's from the managers to the trainers to the equipment guys. Hire a staff that can recruit your geographic footprint. See Chuck Pearson over there? He's a pretty good reflection of what Auburn basketball is about. Recruit players that understand the process, make your program different. They do that by pressing and then marketing. Is there a college coach in the country better besides John Calipari than marketing your program?
Vital Purvis, 3. That was a set play, and he misses, and the rebound goes to Harper. Not only that, having Pearl at the top, Charles Barkley has played. He decided Auburn basketball in a time, and he does attribute it to being able to do not only the basketball court, but off it. They're playing in front of houses now at Auburn. We're going to give ourselves a walk here, and you can sense they were picked 11th, but that was before Austin Wiley showed up on campus. They're probably more 5-6 on that.
Think about what their freshmen have been able to do. Besides Kentucky's freshmen, they might be the most productive freshman class in the country. And like, he's the ringmaster. It's Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, and right there, Bruce Pearl is the ringmaster. And he gets everyone to buy in because he gives up himself to the players, to the fans, to the community, to the alumni, to the former players.
8 on the shot clock. Good defense out top. Foul service. They call it off as he ran through Harper.
That's Auburn. It's known that Purvis is. You don't have another guard with him that can go and break down the defense.
You can understand if you're a UConn fan watching the game, the frustration you're feeling, what it's like to wear a uniform and know that all of those injuries have now been added with Jalen Adams out with a concussion. They just don't have the option set to score or compete.
And Bruce Pearl shortening this game a little bit right now, and this is their 4th game in 9 days. So, if you notice, Bruce Pearl didn't press early.
Travel there and a turnover for Auburn. You try your snake move or your serpentine move, the old Alan Arkin move.
Yeah, the problem is the defender actually stepped up and instead of leveling it off, he stayed up a little higher and took away the old snake route. Where do you go for points if you're Connecticut right now? There's really only one guy that has done it before.
Not Vance Jackson.
Shooting 29 from the 3. Shooting.
Yeah, there's a crowded gym with defense. They haven't had a field goal in their last almost 9 minutes.
With a closely guarded rule that was put in last year, you could put the ball in Harper's hands for 25 seconds if you want. This is a false motion just to move the defense. Here comes a flat ball screen, and he turns the corner.
He kicked it out. Purvis is going to go by himself against Dunnins. He got fouled, and he got fouled hard. And they're going to call. They're going to get Dunnins, and that's an obvious call, isn't it, Seth?
Oh, that is a bad defensive play. You're up 6 points. Test the shot, but you can't hold on, hold that. That is excessive. That will be an intentional flagrant 1.
Yep.
That do that.
Bruce Pearl's referee. Exactly. The way that he reacted, it may be a flagrant 2.
They're going to go to the monitor. It will be very interesting how they react to this call and the decision that they make. But
crew chief is Michael Stevens. He not only got an earful from Bruce Pearl there, he also got one from Purvis, and to his credit, understanding the frustration from Purvis, he held his whistle.
Got him there, got him there. Watch him pull the arm down. And that's going to be the decision for the official between a flagrant 1 and flagrant 2 right here. Is it excessive? Is this a play on the ball, or is that right there excessive? My gut feeling is this is going to be a flagrant 2.
And I'm probably than you. I'd probably, given this team, at least UConn used to play in the Big East, it would put a hard foul in the Big East. Certainly wouldn't be a flagrant 2, it would be a flagrant 1. They're going to call a flagrant 1 as UConn will get 2 shots and the ball, which in this game, given a 1:20 on the clock, it could be a very big play for the Huskies, who haven't been able to score at all. 9 minutes without a field goal. They've been stuck on 54. And Purvis hits the first free throw. Free throw shoot down.
And this is how Connecticut ball game. No ejection, but it's 2 in the ball. And now if you're UConn, up here, do is get a stop.
High screen, and it's set. So Purvis will reset with 30 on the clock, down by 4. Dunnan's got away with a little reach. Purvis looking for a screen from Brima, gets it. Corner, that's Facey on the baseline. He knocks it down, and it's a 2-point game. Nine minutes, 15 seconds. That's their first field goal. Purifoy the drive, defense, and it's Facey who comes up with it. Now the question is, who do you get the ball to? And it's going to be Purvis, 20 on the shot, 30. Jackson, little bump. On the baseline to Brima, who gets it to. None of it was easy, but it's 60-60. That run after that, 1 foul. Let Harper go one-on-one.
Bruce Pearl decides to play on. He's going to get a flat ball screen for Harper right here coming out of this action. Decides not to use the timeout.
Harper, long 3, no good. We're going to go to overtime. UConn and Kevin Ollie with a 6-0 run to end it in the last 1:20. And wow, that foul by T.J. Dunnings on Purvis, which led to the free throws for UConn, turns into a 4th possession.
Was a huge decision by T.J. Dunnings. You're talking about an upperclassman, a senior, who can't make that decision. Harper coming off this ball screen. All right, he's got to try to create some type of contact. Doesn't get it. We get some free basketball.
It's the holiday season. Santa Seth giving up some free basketball as Harper's 3 draws nothing. And we're heading to overtime. Welcome back, everyone. Greenberg, the XL Center, in the start of overtime between Auburn and Connecticut, brought to you by Continental Tire. So So UConn had gone 9 minutes and 15 seconds without a field goal. With 1:20 left, they trailed by 6. Rodney Purvis drove the lane. He was fouled, and a flagrant foul on TJ Dunnins. He makes his 2 free throws. They score on the ensuing inbounds play and then get 2 from Brima. So it's Facey and Brima to go with the 2 free throws from Purvis. And it's tied 60-60 as we begin over.
On that last play, the Connecticut scored. The patience that Connecticut showed in making the extra pass. And gave up of themselves a little bit, whether it was wanted to shoot or gave up a little bit of themselves to get a shot. That ball movement, foul on Dunnins was a huge play. Gave Connecticut life.
No doubt about it. UConn without its best player, Jalen Adams. He suffered a concussion midway through the second half, so he hasn't been on the floor. Connecticut, of course, playing without 3 of its best players from injuries earlier this season that will cost them their entire seasons. Here's a look at Jalen Adams quickly. Austin Wiley, the freshman, number 50, back on the floor. UConn does have a bunch of foul trouble as Harper drives. Brima there to block.
And that's what Brima brings, the ability to protect the front of the rim, took a better angle, and all of a sudden it's a little harder to lay it over Brima than it is Enoch. Here.
He's got 4 fouls, does Brima. TJ Dunnins tries to drive. He loses it. Wiley, the freshman, nice posure. Gets the little jump hook in the...
He's going to be a good player. I mean, he's got to get in condition, get touches, but he's got good hands and got a good score around the basket.
Auburn opens their SEC play against Georgia the 29th of December. Concerned about this non-conference game as Brima will go to the foul line as he got hit by D'Angelo Purifoy. Don't forget, tonight after the Dollar General Bowl game, it's SportsCenter at night. It's the Johns, Bucci, and Anderson will have the highlights from all the bowl games, the 3 of them, the NBA, NHL, which of course is Bucci's forte, college hoops, the NFL news. There's always and everything else. SportsCenter at night after Ohio and Troy live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Brima, that was halfway down, but it
have to continue Brima off the dribble, but Harper now he's got to make some plays for us. Done a great job there. Now as they start to shrink, he's got to start to redirect that basketball, and they've got to have good spacing away from the ball.
Empty trip for Brima. UConn 13 of 21 from the free throw line today. And Heron by himself, tough shot, can't get it to go, and it's Brima with a rebound.
Oh, goodness.
Bad pass from Brima, put Purvis in a bad spot. They're going to call goaltend. And see Brima if he actually got his fingers on the ball, but the officials said that was the case.
Terrible turnover by Connecticut. Here's Brima trailing the play. Can't.
Oh, he slapped the backboard too.
Slapped the backboard. Yeah. Was it on its way up?
I didn't think it was going in. Jackson. Lance Jackson not for him. He had been 0 for 7 from the field before.
It's so difficult for Connecticut because who do you go to get a bucket? But now they got to get a stop.
Wiley, Vital slapped him on the way up, and that'll send the freshman Austin Wiley to the free throw line.
Jackson has a nice release. He was brought in, recruited as a big-time shooter, gets his feet set, knocks down that jumper. And that is huge for Connecticut. Now, all of a sudden, on dribble penetration, if he's spotted up, he can set his feet, step in. He's going to shoot the ball with a little bit of confidence.
Also huge for Connecticut is that was the 5th foul on Christian Vital, so he's fouled out. If they go, and there's another foul, that's going to put a uniform on.
They don't have a secondary ball handler. Now, here's the problem for Connecticut right now. If you look on the floor, Rodney Purvis, all right, is your play starter, your play. They're with 2, basically 4 men and 2 5 men. and Ken Facey and Amina Brymer. So how will Connecticut run offense? Look for some just high, flat ball screens and see if they can get the ball to Jackson, spot it up, or get to the offensive glass against an Auburn team that struggled rebounding the ball.
Austin Wiley, very young in his career, only his third game. A 50% free throw shooter. Misses the first. And he misses the second. Good hustle by Dunnins. They're going to get a foul on TJ Dunnins. Kind of a risk-reward play there, and it turns out to be too much risk. Will come down the other end.
Connecticut struggling to score the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, they really struggle to score. You can't put them on the line where you can't guard them. You've got to make them play against your set defense. 2 plays in a row by Dunnins that you think the game. You've got to, at worst, make Connecticut.
Face 70 best free throw shooters on the team, and he got 13 today. This will be his third free throw. He knocks it down. He's 2 for 3 from the line.
The Auburn team, now excluding Wiley, that is a very good free throw shooting team. They've got to get the key to being a good free throw shooting team, get the right guys to the line. Purifoy, big time free throw shooter. Harper, big time free throw shooter. Have the ball in their hands where they can make a play.
Facey knocks it down, the 12th lead change, and a lot of times you go to college basketball games and the crowd stands until the first basket is made. This crowd has been standing the entire overtime. Done a spin move, way up. You're seeing, I think, the youth here as Purvis nearly lost it.
Running offense is not easy right now. You're putting Facey out on the perimeter. Jackson's not a real ball handler. Dunham is more of a high post player. This is really, really difficult.
Oh, Purvis pushed off, and the offensive foul on Rodney Purvis. For everybody that's in foul trouble, that's only his second, but you understand to Seth's point. In an attempt to create offense, tend to do things like that. Jackson was lost out there with the ball, just looking to find somebody to give it to.
And you're going to get up and under Purvis right now. You're going to get up and under him, make him a driver, try to make him make a play. Because who's he going to throw it to that's going to stretch your defense? So you can really do a good job of helping behind.
Again, Jalen Adams out with a concussion. Christian Vitale fouls out. Bryma's defense good. McLemore battles Purvis, lost it.
Hit a loop up. You need to do as a player, especially in post basketball. Pick it up, gain possession. Possession is the most important thing.
2-minute mark of overtime.
You expect a for Harper and let him try to make a play.
Bryma that, and it goes out of bounds. It'll stay Auburn ball with 6 on the shot clock.
When Harper drives the ball, he's got all different types of layups, but if the defense commits, you've got to have spacing around him, Carl, and he's got to have a bailout pass. Everyone on the perimeter has got to move to an open spot. If you stand and watch him, then the defense is going to be set.
UConn's 10th block of the game.
Watch the duck in right there from McLemore.
Mustafa on the floor. Good. Bound to UConn. What a and a 44 on the clock. They're going to get a timeout. Under trying circumstances with really one quasi-ball handler on the floor. And Rodney Purvis, UConn calls a timeout. We'll send it back to the studio for a moment. Zubin Mehente. Zubin?
Carl, thanks very much. A reminder for those of you wanting to see Tulsa and San Diego State Diamond Head Classic in Hawaii. It's currently airing over on ESPN News. Both teams coming off double-digit wins yesterday. When you guys are done in Hartford, we'll see those two on ESPN2. Back to you.
Really good in these situations.
All right, Zubin, thank you very much. So, think about UConn minus all their injured players, and today adding Jalen Adams to the list with a concussion. Quick recap of the game. Rodney Purvis down 6, gets fouled. They call a flagrant 1. He makes 2 free throws. Kenton Facey hits a baseline jumper. Amita Brymer also a baseline jumper. 6-0 run in the last 120. Last shot from Auburn comes, and as a result, and Greenberg, this would be a probable victory if they're somehow able to come up with it. But in a lot of ways, Auburn has contributed to UConn's lead. Their offensive possessions haven't been great. They've made some silly fouls, which have put UConn on the line, which has been their way of scoring.
They reflect a young team making decisions that young teams make. Poor decisions defensively, reaching for basketball shot selection. You look at the stats, it's really hard to look at this thing and try to make some sense. Neither team's turned it over, but there's a lot of rebounds because people haven't made a lot of shots. 3 goes that works against because Auburn has shot a high percentage, but Kevin, terrific coming out. The problem is ball to get him the ball back. Him, purpose.
Right. Auburn's had all of these nail biters. They lost to Boston College on a tip in at the buzzer. Also won a game on a buzzer here.
Try to work it over the 7-footer.
With 1.4 to play, TJ Dunnins took this inbound pass from Mustafa Heron and knocked down a 3 to beat Mercer. It was a broken play. It wasn't the originally designed play, but Dunnins buried one from the corner. And that's part of Auburn's 9-win resume. I mentioned they had lost to Boston College earlier on a buzzer beater. We perhaps are heading into that situation again.
I'll tell you a big part of this play, whatever they do, the first thing you got to do before you run into play is you got to get the ball in bounds. So Vance Jackson, his ability to see who's open, get the ball in bounds, and then Rodney Purvis. Now, what do? You get him in the action, you set a ball screen, and face it. Big time plays down the stretch. Right here. Right there.
Harper on him. Purvis the hole. They're going to get a foul, perhaps on Harper, and it will be on Harper. I would think that's what you try to do is get a foul if you're UConn.
Without a really good job, Kevin Alley. The ball screen to start the play was just kind of false motion. What he wanted to do is throw back to the post, get a handoff, and then see that he can get Purvis using his athleticism coming off that handoff to get to the rim. And Purvis strong enough, but you got to get the ball back in his hands because he's the one guy that's been there before.
He's played 42 minutes and now has points 19 and 20. UConn's lead is 3. Auburn has been brutally cold from 3. They're 4 for 21. No, they're 5 for 22 as D'Angelo Purifoy buries one.
Harper comes off that ball screen, drams a second defender. Purifoy, a big-time three-point shooter. No one rotates out. You can't get back. That's his first 3 of the game.
1 for 10. Purvis all the way to the rack. Blocked that time on good help from TJ Dunnins.
Would not be surprised to see if Harper and Purifoy once again are in a ball screen. What happened last time is they dragged Kent Facey coming off this ball screen. They dragged him. They switched it that time.
So it's Facey, Harper right by him, then lays it high up off the window. What a play. A little hesitation move by Harper. And Harper now has 22 in the game.
That's Bruce Pearl creating the switch and then attacking the big off the bounce with Harper.
Timeout, Connecticut. Take a look at Jaron Harper's drive, and he's made a living in the paint.
First position, they go ball screen. Small on attack, and they.
Now, D'Angelo Purifoy from three-point land is over 40% this year. Struggling today, but he's a good shooter.
Big-time shooter, and Harper comes off that ball screen. Facey stays to help on the drive. You throw it back to Purifoy, he knocks down the 3. Back-to-back plays. First time they stayed home. Purifoy gets 3. The second time they switch it. Harper recognizes the switch and attacks the big off the bounce. He's got so many different layups at the rim. Really a very interesting player to watch.
A game like this for Auburn, out of conference, on the road, against Connecticut, how important for the program, for the season, for the resume, and all that.
And for the SEC. The SEC needs some out of conference. This would be a terrific. You're on back road, 1 neutral game, 1 good, 4 games in 9 days.
Take a look at the opponents. Coastal Carolina, Mercer, buzzer beater we just showed you from Dunnins. Oklahoma was a 4-point win, and even in that game in the second half, Oklahoma started making shots, and Auburn showed some of their youth, but they hung on and won. And here we are in overtime. UConn has used their last timeout. Auburn still has 4 of those left. They'll inbounds with 21 on the clock, trailing by 2. They set up Vance Jackson. He launches a long 3. It's short and off to the right, and it goes out of bounds.
You don't need that. 9 seconds left. I thought they were going to try to get another dribble handoff, get the ball back to Purvis to get it downhill. There's a freshman that really doesn't understand it just yet. Trying to do the right thing, but trying too hard to do the right thing.
Some of the shooting statistics. Vance Jackson up there. He is 1 of 9 from the field. On the good side, Jared Harper, the freshman guard for Auburn.
How good is he? His ability to shoot different layups, to turn the corner, to get in the lane, to snake it back, to take it at the defender. He can shoot the 3, but you know what? The second half, he didn't settle. Auburn didn't settle. They attacked, they shared the ball, but it starts with the point guard, Harper. His ability to make plays and get in the lane has been a difference in this basketball game.
And it comes to Seth in a game in which Mustafa Heron is 5 for 22. He's got 14 points. Boy is 1 of 10.
Pretty big one, though.
Pretty big one. He's been the only consistent scorer on a team that the Bruce Pearl team. Bruce Pearl team scored a lot of points.
They pass, they steal is they take man shots right now because they're young. They did take as long as they compete and play hard. And they've stayed in this game. Now on this inbound, you cannot run the baseline. So you can look UConn right there, they're face guarding. Look for some type of action going deep and make sure you have to run the ball into your hands if you're.
They'll send Heron to the free throw line as he's fouled. And one thing Mustafa Heron has done well today is shoot free throws. He's 3 for 3. And again, when Connecticut gets the ball back, they will have no timeouts.
And he's a 78% free throw shooter. And that's, again, coaching. What do you do at the end of the game? Get the ball to someone who can make a free throw. Good job of Heron setting his man up and coming back to the basketball.
He's got 2 free throws. He misses the first. Now, if you're Auburn, Seth, with this clock.
If you foul when it's under 5 seconds. You're not going to foul in the with the ball. Watch Purvis try to catch it on the run.
They're going to call timeouts. Can discuss the strategy here with a 3-point game and UConn the ball and no timeouts left.
Right now, if you're Kevin Ollie, what you wanted, you've got 2 choices. You can try to inbound the basketball up the floor, all right, and then make a next pass and try to get something downhill, or you're going to try to get the ball to Rodney Purvis moving in action so that he can catch it on the run and then attack and try to space the floor. So one, you can get bigs in position, offensive rebound, your best shooters out on the perimeter. I would not be shocked to see right now a little bit of soft pressure in the backcourt by Bruce. And then you want to get inside right now. Do they give the foul? It all depends on your philosophy. If Bruce Pearl's philosophy is under 5, we give it, you give it. If the philosophy, you're not going to decide today that you're going to give that foul. This is something you have to practice. Soft pressure, you're forcing Connecticut to catch the ball going away from their basket. There it is, Purvis on the run. He's going to try to turn the corner and attack.
He launches the 3, no good. Out of bounds with
unless they go to the clock, they're
on the clock.
To get a tap.
Bruce Pearl's asking them to check to make sure it's UConn ball.
They're going to check the ball, and then they're also going to check the
time.
clock.
Sure.
Right now, the only thing they can do is get a tap. Really good defense right there, outnumbering the basketball.
It could be about 0.8.
I'm not sure that wasn't off of Enoch, though.
I think it hit Bureau left hand, but when it hit the ground,
hit. Use that one. Not a real clear look at that right there. I don't know how many different looks they're going to have and if it's going to go through our truck.
0.8 will allow them a shot of the three if they add time to it. That ball hit the ground out of bounds.
Let's look at this angle right here. And I wonder if we could freeze it right off of.
It's in McLemore's hand, I think. But there it hits about 0.9.
0.8 or 0.9, which enables you to shot off.
So how do you, a team that only needs a three? You just stand out there.
Stand.
So we're going to put 1.4 on the clock, which is time enough to shoot for sure.
Which is plenty of time.
Sure.
You're going to see Connecticut either do one of two things. They're going to run a set of stagger screens to get Purvis to the ball side for a quick shot. A lot of times teams like to run away from the ball side, screen in, and bring Purvis actually all the way off to the opposite corner away from the basketball. Be interesting to see. You see Purvis on the ball side right now. One of two things. You can either curl off him and step him back, or he can run in the opposite direction.
Yeah, Auburn, Bruce Pearl's over there. He thought it was their ball, but it's not their ball. It was off the hand of McLemore.
He's an optimist. No one ever said Bruce Pearl wasn't an optimist. Watch Enoch potentially set the screen here.
And they substitute Wiley in to guard the ball, make it harder to get the ball.
He's going to go.
Ball, Purvis, the iron, no good. No foul, and Auburn comes into the XL and walks away with a 3-point victory.
That's a heck of a road trip for Bruce Pearl with the Auburn Tigers. A good win for the SEC.
Seth, Auburn ends on a 6-0 run in the last couple of minutes, and they hold on and get a win 70-67. With Seth Greenberg, Carl Ravitch, and for all of our crew, so long as we headed out to Corey Alexander.
We want to welcome